7, 8. Disinvest in apartheid state. 5, 6, 7, 8. Disinvest in apartheid state.
Disinvest in that right now. Caterpillar kills and how. Disinvest in them right now.
A group of 20 shareholders have asked to bring a resolution to the shareholder meeting this year, proposing to engage these companies about their activities in the occupied territories and asking them to either stop these activities or have TIAA-CREF divest. In response, CREF moved their shareholder meeting from New York City, where they expected a lot of media attention and protest, to Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's why we're here, to send a message that whatever they do to avoid this kind of attention, we're going to be there sending the message and telling people that TIAA-CREF, although it claims to be the retirement fund for the greater good, is actually complicit with oppression and occupation in Palestine. A few of us are investors or participants in the retirement fund. If any of you are or know people who are, it's very important to get petitions. We have a date at 12:30 p.m. at the TIAA-CREF offices, which are just off of Green Street, in the little alley between near Urban Outfitters. Whoever would like to deliver a censored ballot to the office, and there will be some media representation there, please come take a ballot. Actually, I'll just pass these around. Please take one. And then whoever feels up to holding a banner or sign.
Or you want me to hold it for you?
Yeah.
Let's go on this side. He's representing a silenced shareholder. Caterpillar kills and how? Disinvest in apartheid now. Kills and how?
Can we get
Listen to our voices. Listen to our call. Don't support the apartheid wall. Don't support the apartheid wall.
TIAA-CREF, now we say, disinvest in kills today. TIAA-CREF, now we say, disinvest in kills today.
Let's wait.
Now we say, disinvest in kills today. TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime.
TIAA-CREF, now's the time.
Israeli occupation is a crime.
TIAA-CREF, now's the time.
Israeli occupation is a crime. TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime. TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime.
Greater good is their motto. But they invest in companies such as Caterpillar, Veolia, Motorola, and Elbit, which aid the Israeli occupation, which build Jewish settler-only roads and light rails, which exclude the Palestinians from their own land. Jewish Voice for Peace and many organizations who have joined them have been calling for TIAA-CREF to engage these companies and ask them to stop serving the Israeli occupation, to stop aiding in the oppression and theft of Palestinian lands. What is TIAA-CREF's response to shareholder resolution proposals to this effect? They say no. They won't bring a shareholder resolution to the floor of their shareholder meeting, which is happening right now. They moved that meeting from New York City, where they would attract the attention of protesters and the national media to Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, those of us who are shareholders and those of us who are supporting the call for divestment are going to go into the office here in Ithaca, as people are doing in 20 cities around the country, around the U.S., and deliver our censored ballots asking and demanding divestment from companies which profit from the theft of Palestinian land and from the Israeli occupation. Let's go right now and deliver these ballots.
Yes. Right on.
I'm a shareholder with TIAA-CREF. I have money in the retirement fund, and I'm here to deliver a censored ballot demanding that TIAA-CREF engage with companies profiting from the Israeli occupation and disinvest.
Yeah.
And they appear to have deserted the office.
He's not by himself.
They don't want to engage with us. They don't want to engage with the companies that profit from the Israeli occupation. They choose to ignore us and to hide and run away. But we say you cannot hide.
You cannot hide.
See if you can slip it under the shirt.
We have a new chant.
Okay.
Well, we got a hunch. TIAA-CREF is out to lunch.
Well,
we got a hunch. TIAA-CREF is out to lunch.
Well,
we got a hunch. TIAA-CREF is out to lunch.
Very good. I guess we can just put
I guess we'll stuff the ballot box here.
Stick them inside there. You can stuff it in.
Yeah, we can put them in the doorknob.
We should get someone to Kim.
Okay, we could put it under that rubble from
Kim, after we put them all in, we'll take a picture of the door.
It looks just like rubble from
They probably. Out of way. That's good. Anybody got any
good idea.
or anything?
Good idea.
TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime. TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime. TIAA-CREF, now is time. Israeli occupation is a crime.
Racial discrimination is everywhere there, everywhere you walk, and I guess like one of my most intense experiences was in East Jerusalem, where I wasn't really expecting that as much. I didn't know too much about East Jerusalem. There's kind of a hierarchy of different levels of, oppression toward Palestinians, and people in East Jerusalem have their own kind of particular kind of oppression because they're kind of classified as residents. They pay taxes to Israel. But they're not citizens. They don't have all the same rights as citizens, and they're often bureaucratically disadvantaged, not getting building permits, like all kinds of different things. So I was on a tour of settlements with ICAD, and we were driving through East Jerusalem, and it's just so visible, and so polar. You're driving by a settlement that has beautiful wide paved roads and playgrounds and gardens, and and we literally drove 30 seconds down the road, and suddenly the road narrowed and it got rocky and the plumbing was really bad and there was trash everywhere, and it's going into practically a ghetto, and it's within a space of 30 minutes or 30 seconds and then we drove up further toward the West Bank and saw a Palestinian town beneath the wall with, you can tell actually what housing is Palestinian housing because they have little black water tanks on them, since Israel controls the amount of water they get, and they only can get water monthly sometimes. And then drove a little farther past, the black tanks and into this settlement that's just, overflowing with gardens and swimming pools, and it's just everywhere you go you can see this kind of discrimination. And I'm sorry I'm being a little jumbled, but I don't know.
And the wall, like she saw the wall in East Jerusalem, how long
compared to
say
this,
it is?
I would say the wall is up to maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 5 of those brown panels, maybe even 6. That's how tall it, maybe even 7 actually. It's
so
huge.
like up to the second window story?
Yeah, probably.
Yep,
there? Probably the bottom part of the second window, maybe even a little higher. It's huge, and you feel so tiny next to it. And I was talking to a Palestinian in Bethlehem while I was standing there looking at it when we spent some time by it, and it's like they don't really leave much to imagination. They really want you to get the point with that wall. And I'm just happy that you all are gathered here today. I'm really happy to see such a great turnout. And do you know the exact measurements, Beth?
I don't, but it's supposed to, they said it's supposed to be like along the border of Israel and the Palestinian territories, but it actually cuts into the territories and divides the Palestinians from their fields, children from their kindergartens. So it not only, it's not just between Palestinians and Israelis, but it's between Palestinians and other Palestinians.
It encircles whole Palestinian towns, and also it's very much like Beth said, like directly stealing resources. Like another one of like my big moments is the wall and seeing it next to this beautiful olive grove that that used to be a Palestinian olive grove, as our tour guide explained to us. And then you just see this massive wall and all these olives, and it's very clear what the intention is. And then they have bureaucratic laws that if you don't harvest your fields for a certain amount of time, it becomes Israeli land, and it's a very direct way of stealing land. And there's so much.
One of Kim's fellow delegates got arrested while he was there, a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
You want to explain what happened?
We're coming back from Hebron, which is a very, very hard place to be because it's the most racially segregated place in the West Bank. There's settlements within an Arab city, which is unique in the West Bank. We were coming back to that, and there was actually a massive, massive parade celebrating the annexation of East Jerusalem, and they were walking right through East Jerusalem, which is where the Palestinians hope to have their future capital, and it's been annexed territory for a long time, and there's settlements growing and growing and growing all around East Jerusalem, a very particular way to make it so it will never be the Palestinian, future capital. And so some of our delegates decided to protest against that, and the one Jewish kid in the group was immediately arrested, very violently arrested, beaten up a little bit, and almost deported. So it gives you a sense of how welcome your views are in that area. And they were very peacefully protesting. There's YouTube videos of it. They're just standing, giving a peace sign, and he was pulled by his keffiyeh and jammed to the ground and beaten up and arrested and put in jail for a couple days and asked very, very politely to leave. Not really even politely. Asked very strongly to leave.
Basically his message was, I'm a Jewish American, and I don't support the occupation being done in my name.
So just last week, Israeli Knesset or Parliament passed a law enabling Israeli citizens, private citizens, to sue other Israelis for calling for and supporting the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement. So anyone who signs a petition or supports a call or publicly asks a friend to say, boycott a product made on the West Bank or in the Golan Heights in Israeli occupied territory, or asking a major artist like some like Elvis Costello has done to cancel their tour of Israel, not perform in Tel Aviv, or anything like that. Anyone who supports the international BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions movement can be brought to court and supported by this law, the law of the Israeli land.
That means they're scared. That's good.
And that's right. And there is an organization called Boycott from Within that has already, and several Israeli organizations that are challenging the law. Whether they even support boycott or not, they are against this law, which violates the civil rights and basically operates on fear and mistrust of your neighbor. The other thing is there was a pretty unique large rally and march around the old city of Jerusalem, calling for Palestinian sovereignty within the 1967 borders, which was it was mostly Israelis, but to have it was a very clear call in support of both the Palestinian declaration of statehood and of a real end to the occupation, and it was supported by several thousand Israelis who marched around the old city and into East Jerusalem. It involved Palestinian protesters as well, but from what I read, it's not so safe for Palestinians to be protesting within Israel, so it was mostly Israeli Jews. And for in Jerusalem to have a march and a protest of that size is really unusual. Most of things like that happen in Tel Aviv, because Jerusalem is a very strongly national Jewish Israeli nationalistic city.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And we have more petitions if anybody wants to get signatures as well.